Okay, so here I am with two little eyes that are fairly similar. I did lashes on both. Obviously, you wouldn't do lashes on one. I also stabbed myself really wonderfully as I was doing it, and it's super important if you poke yourself to put a band-aid over it, especially if it's bleeding. Even if it's a tiny little bit of blood that's coming out, chances are you're not going to notice, and as you work, like, you're going to think you stopped the bleeding, and then as you work, you're going to end up having a little bit of blood on the skin, and it's really hard to get the blood out. If you do get blood on your doll, the best thing to use is baby wipes and to gently blot it until you can get the blood out. Don't rub too hard or you'll pill your skin fabric. So gently blot, and for security, I just wrap a band-aid on there whether it's really needed or not. If there's even a drip of blood, I put on a band-aid just to prevent any horrible blood accidents. So what we're going to do next is our mouth. So I can see where I have my little bit of a mouth line here from where I did my internal mouth, which really helps. So I can see where my magnet is. And I have a length of the pink string. This length is about as long as my arm from fingertip to shoulder. So it's a longer string because I didn't want to be short on this. It doesn't have to be that long. It just has to be able to comfortably go from the top of the head through to the mouth, through again, and out the top again. You're going to use the entire length of floss, so it's best if you bite or lick the end. I know it sounds gross, but then you can flatten it so that all 6 strands can fit into your needle head. And after you've done that, it's best to then snip where you had your string in your mouth, because otherwise it makes it really difficult to pull through the skin fabric. So what we're going to do is this giant needle, which, like I said, is a little excessive. A little bit smaller would have been better. And I'm going to find the corner of my mouth. I made a mouth underneath, and so I can kind of feel where I had the mouth indented in. And I'm going to try and continue that. So as soon as I feel where I think the mouth was indented, I can feel it on this side. I can't feel it as well over here. I think it's fairly close, maybe a little higher. So you see, I poked with my big needle into my skin. Now, something to show you guys, a little trick, is if that happens and you don't want to use that spot, what you can do is use a needle and carefully pull your fabric back, your grain back. So it kind of erases that little hole. You can still see it a little bit, but it's not as noticeable. So I wish I'd pulled a little harder on the string so I could find that corner, but I'm thinking it's up here actually, a little bit higher than where I initially poked. So I'm going to go in and come out at the top of the head. The more towards the forehead you come, so I'll show you in a second. If I come more towards the front of the head, it'll end up having a little bit more of a smile. If I go more towards the back of the head, it'll just pull it more inwards. You'll understand as you go what that means. So I unthreaded my needle at the top, leaving a tail. Now I'm going to rethread the opposite side of my needle. I'm just checking to see if this is in the right place, and it looks like it's in a pretty good place. So I'm going to thread the opposite end. Once it's threaded, this one's taking a little bit longer. Remember to snip where you licked because it makes it difficult to go through the skin. It catches. And I threaded the end again. I'm going to feel for my corner. And I just double check that that's approximately equal sides of each mouth. So here's the sides of my nose, and you want it approximately equal distance away from the sides of your nose. So what I'm going to do is once again try and come out in a similar spot as I came out with the other thread to make it easier to tie. There we are. So it came out up here. You can see it's pretty close to where the other thread came out. And I'm going to pull it straight through. And as I put tension on the thread, which you'll see here, a little smile is formed. I'm hoping you can see that. And it just looks super adorable. So what you're going to do then is I'm going to tie this off. You might want somebody to help you. You can decide how loose to make it. If you make it too loose, it will loosen over time with play. So it's better to be a little bit too tight than too loose. However, if you pull it too tight, sometimes it can have like a really old person look, as if they have no teeth. So don't go that far. So just tight enough to make it have a little bit of cheek here. It's hard for me to tie it on camera, so I'm going to stop at this point. And what I'm going to have you guys do is go ahead and follow the photo tutorial for how to do the hair. I want you to cut your hair out and sew it. So when you get back here, we'll have our mouth tied and our hair already sewn.